Hey, the Georgia Bulldogs with an
31-17 victory. Ugly start, fellas. They got down 10-0 in the first quarter, but then they went on a 31-7 run over the second, third, and fourth quarter. Absolutely massive game for the Georgia Bulldogs. Saved their season. Carson Beck, monster game, 25 for 40, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, 3 carries, 32 yards, and a touchdown. He showed his legs today. And I think, Ryan, we have to start. We'll talk about the defense, but we got to start with Carson Beck. That offensive line, I thought, protected him all night long. And Georgia scored 31 points on a really good defense. Massive win.
You thought 20 would be a lot.
Yeah, I did. I thought Tennessee would cover. I thought Georgia would win, not by 14 points, but they did. This is a really, really impressive win. And they kind of dominated the game in a way for the final 3 quarters, Ryan.
Yeah, they did. Tennessee won the first quarter. Momentum changed in the second quarter. Look, electric atmosphere. It was not the best Georgia atmosphere I've been in, but it was up there. It was great. I thought that the red lights in the student section was an awesome touch.
That was awesome.
I got a good video. It's on my Twitter if you want to go look at it. But
check out Ryan's Twitter.
Yeah.
It's Ryan's day still.
It's Ryan's day. If you didn't know, it's about me today. Great win. Look, Matt and I were talking about it. Carson Beck, man. You said it. Yeah, give him his flowers. There you go. Like Dean said before we got into the car.
Give him credit.
Give him credit. Give him his praise. That's what give him his flowers. Yeah. Look, they like Dean said to us before we jumped into the car and started recording. They don't win without Carson Beck tonight. No. They don't. So, and guess what? I'm in the crowd a lot. I'm all over the place in these games. I kind of have a unique perspective. Every single incompletion is, Carson Beck this, Carson Beck that. What are we? Just because it's an incomplete pass, he was the best player on the field tonight. He was the best player on the field tonight. I don't know what's going on around
there. There were Tennessee people trying to hitchhike back
to Knoxville.
It's a long drive. It's a long drive back. Yeah, good defensive performance. But offensively, Tennessee hadn't allowed 20 points at all this season. It was a top 5 scoring defense, and it was top 5 in total defense. Georgia put up 453 yards on them. They put up 31 points. That was, to me, the biggest takeaway. What's been the concern all year? The offense is all over the place. Yeah. Most of the time, it really hasn't been great. Tonight, it was good enough to beat one of the best teams in the country, and good momentum moving forward. Should win the next 2 games, but those instant takeaways. We're going to talk about it more.
Yeah, hey, 35 days. You got to play Tech, but 35 days until you play a game where, you're going to be in some serious hot water, I guess you could call it.
It's not going to be here, probably.
I don't think it's going to be here either, but as you both, as you and I have been discussing, Ryan, we can't tell what's next. I mean,
it's too early.
What if Ole Miss loses at the Swamp? What if, Tennessee loses to Vandy? Which, I got to say, I think Tennessee's not going to be in this thing now, which I think is abnormally unfair. Period.
Ohio State plays Indiana next week.
Yeah, which anyway. You got 35 days to get right. My longtime friend and ally from Tucker, former teammate, I'm not even going to say his name actually, but because people would actually know him. But it was always, hey, get your mind right. Get your mind right. So we're talking about 5 weeks. That's a long time, Matt. You're going to do a lot of Christmas shopping. Yeah. There's going to be, I think you've already done Christmas pictures.
Yes, they
were less traumatic.
They did that today. They were just about as traumatic as they were last year. Not great, but we're working there. But
how are your Christmas pictures? For those who celebrate.
It's for what, like family Christmas photos?
Yeah.
I haven't done it this year. We haven't done it this year.
I will say this. We learned a lot about this team because after what we saw last week, and this crew drove all the way out there to see that nightmare, the way they responded and the way they practiced, Kirby talked about it, Carson talked about it, they had a great week of practice, and they regrouped, they refocused, and Kirby said afterwards, everyone kind of counted us out again, and this and that.
Oh, God.
And that's just what he does. But as a team, they fought back and they played extremely well with the season on the line. We learned a lot about this team, even though they're banged up. This is a beat-up football team. There's injuries all over the place, especially at running back. Nate Frazier ran really hard today, Dean. But overall, this team really came together and played their best with the season on the line. They should get a lot of credit for that.
Hey, let me say this out loud because I think I'm quick to say. I'm not so quick to say this was a game where it mattered coaching. Because a lot of games Georgia plays that they don't lose, that they win, they don't always outcoach. Man, they outcoached Tennessee tonight, and they adjusted when they had to. Ryan, I don't know enough about football. That looked very sketchy for a second there, and that's inappropriate to talk about. But I don't know enough about football to say, hey, they did this.
People that really know football. People
that too, but they got them where they outcoached Tennessee because you could tell there was adjustments. A, B, the coaching is about teaching. It's about explaining things to people who are younger, who can get frustrated, and who it's not easy. It's not easy. They did that part as well as anything they did tonight, which was to say, okay, you lost to Ole Miss. I mean, okay.
And they got down 10, Ryan, and they fought back. They fought through adversity again.
It wasn't looking pretty at the beginning. And
no, it was looking like they were ugly.
Another thing that we said right before, Tennessee scores on them fast pretty often. That's a thing that happens on the first drive. Didn't happen 2 years ago.
They kicked the field goal.
They kicked the field goal 2 years ago?
I think they kicked the field goal.
They didn't score a touchdown. Right. But Nate Frazier's biggest run of the night was taken back by a penalty. And all the Tennessee people are really complaining about the penalties. Get over it, man. This happens every single week. There's bad calls on each side. I can't even think of the calls, which is my whole point.
His helmet came off. It didn't seem like they ripped it off. It just seemed like it came off.
No, that was a face mask.
Okay.
Yeah,
it was a weird view from the press box.
Look at their telescopes so we can see it.
The 12 men on the field. That was
12 men on the field.
Yeah, I mean, like...
And that was against Georgia.
I don't know. That was against Tennessee.
Oh, well, there were multiple 12 men on the field.
We're not gonna like, Tennessee had penalties that hurt them. Georgia did too, but when Tennessee's had theirs...
31-7 run. It was a 31-7 run in the game.
Tennessee had a chance to ice that game. Didn't do it. What is happening? Why is there a cop in this lane? Does that make sense to you?
No.
Look, man.
Let's talk about the receivers real quick.
I just want to say it's an epic win. Yeah. Arian Smith, really played well. Got to catch that first ball. That's all I'm going to say. And I'm not even hating. I'm just saying, got to catch that first ball.
2 or 3.
Can't push off as blatantly as he did on that one. That was a big play.
I didn't hate that.
It was a big play. It was the right call.
It was pass interference.
The receiver can't be doing that, though.
London Humphreys had the best receiver play of the day. On the drive where they secured, it was the drive where they had the touchdown to go up 31-17, right?
I don't know. I'm just trying to understand the Athens Park County Police.
It doesn't. I'm asking a question though. Was that the drive?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. Huge catch. You don't see those types of catches every single week. That was the best receiver play of the night.
Here?
We're getting around it. But
we're about
they're
to get
picking
around.
up all the cones. They're picking up all the cones.
Yeah, but dude,
you don't do that right now.
Picking up all
they know. I know they. Someone in Athens, I know they do, because a lot of times public servants stop us and say, "Hey, are you those guys?" And so I know they watch it, but it is a curious thing to go kind of wig-wag from right to left, Matt.
Yes, I will say this: the defense gave up 0 points in the second half. Is that right?
Correct. I did.
They brought the boom, Ryan. They brought the boom.
Where are they going?
They did bring the boom.
Where are they going?
I'm not sure. 17-17 halftime score.
Wow, they did. And I think it went punt, fumble.
But
was the drive chart for Tennessee in the second half?
First of all, those back-to-back plays of fumbles or whatever it was. I said to somebody who was to my right, a TV guy in Atlanta, I was like, these guys can't be happy.
But you're saying the first one was the Dylan Bell incompletion, right?
Which was, they were fortunate, I think, on that.
They were. And then Arian Smith fumbled the next play that he jumped on, or someone else did?
No, I think Arian got it back, I think. I could see where you could say maybe Dylan Bell fumbled that, or didn't fumble that ball. I don't know.
It was an incomplete pass.
For me,
it was a forward pass.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
So he never had control of it.
Yeah, it was an incomplete pass.
Yeah. Well, I thought he had control of it for
Oh,
a minute.
okay.
split second.
Just for a moment, but was it enough? I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, when you lose by double digits, complaining about the officiating,
A little much.
I just don't. I try so hard not to do it. It was not the. Was it the Clemson game that was so bad today? Who
The
was?
Clemson game was
was
not
the-
good football.
that
It
was
was like
awful.
watching some JV high school
Who was
football or
it, by
something.
the way? Yeah.
Was it the officiating in that game was so bad?
All of it. Like, it was a train
It just
wreck.
that game should not have been played.
It was a
so
bad high school game. That's
We
what
got
I
Cade
felt like I was
Klubnik or
watching.
whatever his name is out here thinking he's done something because he had this guy can run like crazy, and that's what we saw from Carson tonight. That's got to stay in the repertoire, okay, Matt?
Yeah.
Not against UMass, maybe or maybe not against Tech, a team that they should pay attention to. But if Carson's going to start running, and he tells me, I asked the one I asked him. He said, "Well, I'm a dual threat," which Kirby got a kick out
He
of.
did. He stopped that quickly.
Well,
Somebody
hey,
said
Kirby,
75-25.
Kirby, I'm asking. Hey, it's what he said. I'm not declaring him a
dual threat.
I mean,
What,
well, but I will say,
one was a quarterback like power, right?
straight up,
Straight
But
up.
one was a
quarterback run.
that. In all
It was a
seriousness,
great call.
Carson Beck played his nuts off tonight, and he just straight up. I texted y'all in the first quarter or second, said if Carson doesn't do this, isn't it happening? And I want to say, and I don't know if I sent this in the text messages or not because I'm so busy during these games. Shock did it, Aaron did it, Green did it.
Jake Fromm did it against the Gators after LSU.
Yeah. There is a moment in your life. Stetson did
Obviously, Stetson did it. a
Stetson
lot.
did it.
Yeah.
But you got to be what you're supposed to be. And what we saw tonight was pretty close to that for Carson. And Ryan, the runs made a huge difference.
Yeah, I mean, the momentum, and one was a
Huge.
touchdown.
One was a touchdown.
One was a touchdown.
That
They gave him the
scramble-
lead. But yeah, the scramble.
The
earlier,
scramble, I'm
before
out
that.
here with the 500, and I got switched to the 20. I mean, that's so frustrating. And then they changed the lighting.
The
on
one
us.
where he lowered the shoulder on the guy.
It almost changed the game in a way.
It
He-
did.
It did.
He got
It
in the
changed the
groove after
mindset of that.
He
offense.
said that. Did he know
Yeah,
that?
he straight up
Yeah,
said that
he
in the press
said-
conference.
I-
He said,
what did
"Look,
he
they
say?
gave us some juice. Bring your own juice."
Something.
I don't know if he said
I-
gave us some juice, but it was along
Well,
those
he
lines.
should have. Like,
It
let's
was-
not get too Dabo.
It
with
was
here.
BYOJ.
Let's not get too Dabo.
Don't.
Not too Dabo.
No,
Enough Dabo.
He played really well. It's the best he's played in what?
Wow.
Since the last time they were at home.
I think it's the best
Auburn?
he's played this
All year,
season,
yeah.
probably since.
Well,
the
in,
Ole Miss game
terms
last
of
year.
in terms of what the game
It would
meant,
not-
this was the best he played all year.
It would not be at all surprising, Taco. Everybody's
that's
making a
crazy.
run to the border.
There you go, Ryan.
That's a
Get your
giant
Taco Bell
run to
in.
the border.
No,
my
you
friend.
know I don't like Taco Bell.
What?
You know
He's
I'm
never-
not about Taco Bell.
Now you're next thing you're gonna say you don't like He-Man. What is wrong with you?
You know
This
this.
is
I did not
this is
Taco
Bell
public
guy.
knowledge. These guys know I don't like Taco
Ryan
Bell.
doesn't do Taco Bell.
No,
Well,
everyone knew
I
that.
hate to inform you that they will be our sponsor starting next week.
Let's go.
Are you serious?
Yeah, hell yeah, you're going to be eating chalupas like crazy
I'll eat one of those
and cinnamon
Doritos
sticks.
Supreme.
You're not
or
being
whatever.
serious.
I'm not being
Okay,
serious. Are
okay.
you nuts?
No, you were a little too giddy about
Yeah, I
it.
was all
Well,
about that.
you were a
for a
little
minute.
too
Look,
giddy.
man,
I would have eaten the little cinnamon twists.
I
I
could
wonder
throw down some Taco
if
Bell
you
right
cut
now.
if
No,
you took
we
blood,
got pizza on the way.
If you took blood from me and Kirby and people of our generation, Taco Bell would still be in our bloodstream. That's how important it was in the 90s. Just for the record. And the
I was
comment
born in 2001.
the comment section can clarify and confirm. I thought without those runs from Carson, they still probably win, but it changed the game, Matt.
100%.
Yeah, defense, something it did this week that it didn't do last week outside of the first drive was create pressure, cause disruption. There were a few drives where the defensive line took over.
It
and
always
they
felt
made
like
them
Tennessee could score, though. That's kind of maybe
because they have good players and they have the best running back in the SEC. I mean,
that guy was legit.
Dylan
He
Sampson,
was- oh my
Dylan
God.
Sampson made one of the best little 6-yard runs I've ever seen.
That
I mean, he
guy-
almost scored on it.
I don't even think I could tackle him in my prime. He's that good. I don't think I could tackle him.
No,
I don't know, man.
And
I don't
I'm
know.
really humble. And for me to say that I may
I
not be
don't
able to
know.
do something is telling.
Hey,
Walking
whoa.
in the middle of the road.
Oh,
Oh.
oh.
A lot going on. This is the West side, right?
No,
This
East
is
side.
the east side.
No front right tire on
We're
that
just
car.
gonna wreck our car in the
East
ditch.
side.
Just kind of going full.
You got to cross the whole 4 lanes to do that. 3 lanes.
And I'll say this again. I said this in my video. I don't look at Tennessee any different from coming to Athens and losing this game. That is a good team. That should
But
not
they're gonna
be.
get knocked out, and it's wrong.
It is wrong. It is wrong. Georgia earned that victory, and they did it. It wasn't given to them. They
said
played
that-
hard,
I swear to
and
God.
they earned it.
It's like y'all listen. I mean, I said that to someone at Georgia who was on the sidelines. Said, "Whoever wins this game is going to earn it. It's not going to be given away."
a tough
before we started,
game.
This was
It was a
a
tough
hard
game.
And Tech
game, man.
may be that way. I don't know. I'm very curious to see what that line's going to be. I'm such a psychopath about these lines.
14-ish?
I think it's going to be more like 17.
Oh, that's a big call.
to me.
It's a big
Well,
call.
that's the pizza call, and we're
We've got-
gonna have to ignore it for now. No, we have to. We have to.
We're almost there.
We're almost there. Someone can run inside and double check. But I think I understand and have respect for what Brent Key's done there. But again, 35 days. So Fish has a song. I think it's 48 days or 49 days. There's only so many days. Look at Matt. He's like, why can't you reference the dead? Hey, 48. That fish, I'm not a big Fish guy, but that's a great song.
Fish is good.
Fish is adequate.
Yeah.
Like if you can't play Pink Floyd,
They're not widespread, or they're not.
they're certainly not
Grateful
Pink
Dead.
Floyd. But they've got time to become a different team. I want to. The defense played really well.
Can they run the ball, or is this what they are?
That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
I'll let you get to it.
Actually do think they can, but I think although somebody was unwilling to concede my point adequately, I do think the injuries are a lot right now, and I think that if you have the ability to have a more a less injured run situation, give me 1 second, then you're talking about a different ballgame. It doesn't mean, like, if they're going to play at Penn State, that's still going to be a challenge for them.
That's a real front seven.
There's
That's a real
no
front
certainty they beat Penn State at Penn State. But what I would argue, to get away from the run game, I do think they can get healthy and get where they are their best possible selves for the entire season, just a few days before Christmas. But that said, there's no certainty that they'd win at Penn State or wherever. They'd probably win at Miami. They'd probably win at Indiana. But if you're going to Ohio State, if you're going to Penn State, that's challenging. But let me just spit this out too. They will probably be a different team in 5 weeks, because that's where we're at. They will be healthy. Doesn't mean they certainly will win. And in addition, Ryan, why is it that they got to travel? Because they lost a game on the road to Ole Miss or Alabama? What the hell are we doing?
You think they deserve to be a top 8 seed?
Hell yes, they do.
Yeah, well, look, I just don't think...
Let me pose a question to you, Ryan.
First of all,
or
it's not
Brian,
possible.
whichever it is.
No.
I don't know if it's Brian or
Brian.
Ryan.
I don't like
Let
that.
me ask you this question in all seriousness. What is Penn State's record if they play Georgia's schedule? Do they definitely have
2 losses at least?
They've got at least 2 losses, potentially.
At least, okay. Well, then what are we talking about?
They lose to Bama,
Potentially
Texas,
3.
and probably Ole Miss.
And
on
they
the road.
probably
Then what-
lose to
then-
Tennessee.
Then what are we talking about right now?
They could lose to Tennessee as well.
Then what are we talking about?
Well,
Tennessee
what is
would
the committee
probably-
talking about is the real question.
Tennessee-
Can we
They don't know.
watch the deliberations?
Tennessee likely would beat Penn State. I would
think so.
argue.
I don't think it's impossible that this team ends up with the home playoff game.
Okay,
I
please
think it's-
explain this to me.
Okay,
'Cause
well,
I'm not sure I'm
Quickly,
with
because
you.
I'm starving.
Look, they're ranked. I don't know what's going to happen with these rankings. They're ranked right behind Ole Miss and Alabama right now, but they just had a significant win. Do they get rewarded and jump over the 2 teams that they just lost to? Do they kind of stay put? The committee's got a challenge on its hands this week because of this game, and
Go check on the pizza.
I mean, I don't-
We'll be right back.
I think they will keep those 2 in front of Georgia. They're just going to punish Tennessee, like I think you.
But
so you think
that's
Georgia can win
ridiculous,
this
though.
game and only move up 1 spot?
No,
Yes, that's what he just said. I mean,
I just think
Morons.
you have Georgia over Tennessee.
why is Georgia not in front of Miami
They
and
should be.
Utah?
They should
And
be.
I mean, not Utah. He got to let Alex situation here. We got Alex situation.
Okay.
So this is a problem, man.
It's gonna be a problem every year.
But like, if Indiana loses to Ohio State, that is like the biggest. That is a huge game
Red
for
flag,
everybody. But what is the record? What is the game going to be? How much do they lose by? How much do they win by? Whatever. That's the question. See.
Yeah,
We've got
there's 2 more weeks, right?
This
There's
has
2
gotten
more-
so stupid.
There's Indiana's
There
going
are
to play
2.
Ohio State. That's going to change the rankings a little bit. Texas is going to play Texas A&M. That could change the rankings depending on how that goes. I think
Because
Texas,
A&M can come into this
because
ballgame.
A&M could get right back into it with a win over Texas. And then there's a real muddy situation for the SEC.
Because A&M has not played Ole Miss. They have not played Alabama. They have not
No.
played Georgia.
No.
They have avoided all those games.
And their best win is over a 4-loss LSU team now.
Yeah. And I think that's their best win, right?
Yeah, because they lost
But
to Notre
again,
Dame
and
week
we're
1.
ignoring Notre Dame's foolishness.
They're going to end up with a home game.
Well, they are, and Georgia totally could go there. I would imagine Georgia would be about a field goal favorite at Notre Dame. That's what I would imagine. It doesn't mean it would give you the capability. It would give you the capability to go to that game. You've never been to Notre Dame. You've
Nope.
never been to the Rose Bowl.
Nope.
You've never, so there's all these
Hoping
things.
to see some new places here in
all
the
of
next
these
couple
things
months. Seen a
are-
lot of new places this
all
year.
these things are completely possible. We just don't know what's going on.
There
Don't-
are a lot
don't
of different
cramp.
scenarios.
I think you need to
A
make
lot
sure
of-
you're not cramping.
a lot of different scenarios that, I mean, they could end up in any of these big bowl games. They could end up going to all sorts of these teams. It's assuming that they handle business the next 2 weeks. They've punched a ticket in though.
They're in.
They're in.
Yeah, I agree with that. What I don't know, go ahead, Matt. It doesn't matter. What I'm curious about, this could work out very well for Georgia, though. Now, let me be the optimist and just say this.
Well, I agree. So, yeah.
Let me just kind of be that guy. What if the ACC champion is not a good team? What if you're playing at Miami, or what if you're playing at SMU? Okay, then you would be. Let's just say you're the 10 and you beat the 7. The 10 and the 7, that would not be ideal. Let's say you're the 11 and you beat the 6 or something like that. Then you're playing the 3 or the 4. What you want is to get the quarterfinal that's the 3 or the 4. Because then you're getting either the ACC champion, the Big 12 champion, or Boise in a bowl game. Those are all games where Georgia would be probably a touchdown favorite, something
Which
like
is-
that.
And they're going to be ranked behind these teams.
Correct. That is correct.
To your point.
Yes.
Earlier.
Well, I've been discussing this foolishness for some time now.
But this has been the foolishness for a decade now. I mean,
This is worse, though.
it's now worse. Somehow
would
we've
say.
made the situation worse by expanding to 12.
And it'll go to 14.
And-
yeah, we're leaving. We're going to get off.
No,
We're going to get
that's
off.
not what I was.
I thought it was a
looking at.
huge day for Carson Beck. I thought it was a great day for the tight ends and Nate Frazier. I thought the defense played really well. I think the offense played better than the defense. Am I allowed to say that out
No,
loud?
you are. The improvement from the offensive line from last week to this week really stands out, as well as Carson Beck's play and the adjustments on defense. I don't know what the adjustments were, but the secondary played better as the game went along, and they tackled better as the
Yes.
game went along.
Let me
Yes.
throw this to Ryan. Am
Yeah.
I permitted to say that Mike Bobo called a very good game?
You
or
were
not?
permitted to
All
say
right.
that he called a good game. What about those touchdowns to Delp? Those were good calls.
My Bobo ain't
the-
dropping
the-
passes either.
The quarterback runs were good calls. The
I think
ones
that's
that were
got to stick around.
the ones that were designed. Even
the kid can really run sometimes.
if he
we
can't,
told
and
everyone
he's-
that years ago, by the way.
Final moments, thoughts.
Great win. I think that they've essentially punched a ticket. They've got to win the next 2 games. They still matter. But look, this team really could end up with a road playoff game, and if that's the case, they've got some stuff to figure out. They beat Texas on the road, but it's been tricky for them this year. When you think about Kentucky and you think about Alabama and Ole Miss, and for most teams this is the case. You see it in the SEC. They're better at home, but they've got some stuff to figure out moving forward. But this team's in a good position right now.
They can still get healthier. They can still get better. The season's still alive. Really liked what I saw out of really every aspect of the game today. They all played well and played their best with the season on the line, outside of that Clemson game.
Penn State went to overtime with the Southern California Trojans, who defeated today the Nebraska Cornhuskers. I only mention that because Ohio State probably should have lost to Nebraska at home. Penn State beat SC in overtime. These are not at all the same thing. Thanks for watching.